Hello all you fart faces, so PlayStation has just released a new video.
See a fart face!
The Silent Hill 2 remake has caused quite a stink. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, but it's a stench that is definitely still there. And in just a few days it will be available on PlayStation and Steam. And sorry to you Xbox users, you've got played like a damn fiddle, and that's some serious BS, as you won't apparently get it until a year later. Not until October the 8th in 2025.
This is bullshit. I can't believe I needed you. I was hoping for a day one exclusive like PlayStation and Steam, but that's all over now. Oh, Mary, the wife I've lost, the sex life I've lost, it's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you?
Today we're diving into an iconic boss battle you might remember. Yep, we're talking about the Flesh Lip fight. This takes place in Brookhaven Hospital, deep inside after James gets separated from Maria, and a little after meeting Laura. And they attack by strangling you with their legs. You know, just your average day in Silent Hill. Oh, and if that wasn't creepy enough before the fight really kicks off, the Flesh Lips let out this animalistic groan, like the creature's trying to clear its throat in the most horrifying way possible. And now remember the cage thing like contraption they're stuck in? It's probably a symbol of how Mary was confined to her bed during her illness, or so reports suggest, with 3 of them possibly representing 3 years that she was stuck there. It's this kind of psychological mind-bending horror that makes Silent Hill 2 so damn brilliant. Survival horror mixed with emotional trauma is the kind of shit even a therapist won't want to touch. Now let's talk about the Flesh Lips themselves. These things are like bloated, malformed masses of meat and flesh with human-like limbs sticking out from both the top and bottom, all suspended in a rusty metal frame attached to the ceiling. Basically it looks like someone had a bad day at the meat locker. To top it all off, there's a pair of large, huge smacking lips on the bottom that just scream nightmare fuel. So usually the best strategy for taking on the Flesh Lips is to blast them with a shotgun before they get too close. Depending on the difficulty level, each Flesh Lip will go down after about 2 or 3 shots. However, aiming upwards towards the Flesh Lips can be tricky, so maintaining your distance and keeping an eye on when James locks onto a target is crucial. If you're out of shotgun bullets, the steel pipe can work, but it's generally better to stick with a handgun. Once you defeat a Flesh Lip, it will stop moving and lift its feet up, signalling its demise. After taking down the first 2, a third faster Flesh Lip will make its appearance, ramping up the challenge. It's worth noting that the Flesh Lips have slightly different versions across the various iterations of the game, adding to that overall complexity and strategy required to handle this memorable boss.
James.
So in the Silent Hill 2 remake, the Flesh Lip battle has undergone significant changes. While still retaining key elements of the original boss fight in design, according to Blooper Team, the size of the room has been altered, creating a different atmosphere for the encounter. The room is a lot more brighter. One of the most notable changes in the new combat mechanic, players can now shoot the Flesh Lips' arms, which allows them to bring these grotesque creatures down to the ground, unlike in the original game. It was tough to discern what was happening due to the lighting, and the Flesh Lips would use their arms to cling to the ceiling even in the original, but just making it impossible to shoot them down. However, with this new mechanic in the remake, players can effectively target their arms, making melee weapons like the steel pipe far more effective in the fight. This added layer of the strategy will enhance the experience and keeps the essence of the original intact whilst introducing fresh gameplay elements. We can even see them climb back into the ceiling. The Flesh Lip battle becomes even more dynamic as the creature transforms as the more damage it takes, as the player inflicts damage. The framing of the bed, the boss itself morphs into like spider-like legs with the bed's framing, propping it up off the ground. This transformation is what adds the thrilling twist to the encounter compared to the original. Those spindly legs can spike players if they get too close. The great thing about this new scripted boss battle is that it encourages players to switch between melee combat and using guns, making it a far more challenging experience than the original. If you've watched my content, you know I'm not a huge fan of the voice acting in the remake and some of the removal of the iconic songs. It's pretty disappointing, but for me, gameplay is where it really matters. Honestly, the game could look like a Nintendo 64 title, but if it had the quality and the features of which are free, I'll be playing it all day long. point I'm trying to say is that graphics are not always the important thing, it's down to the gameplay. But you really can't deny the visual beauty of the graphics in Silent Hill 2's remake. They really enhance the scare factor, especially if everything else like the soundtrack and the overall ambience is done right. I'm an open-minded guy, and I want to believe this remake will deliver something we can all be proud of. There are a few more bosses I'd love to see, like the Abstract Daddy, which represents Angela's trauma from her past, sexual abuse by her father and brother. It'd be great if the dialogue during that battle could be more disturbing, perhaps incorporating more suggestive elements that reflect the horror Angela faced during that abuse. Not just to get a wow factor, but to simply point out how horrifying that it must be for what some people who are going through that abuse actually experience, to really showcase to people who don't understand it what it's like. I also hope for improvements in the boss fight with Eddie Dombrowski compared to the original, because you could absolutely wreck him in the first half. Whilst the second half was a much better challenge, I'm looking forward to see the remake adding new touches similar to what we see in the Flesh Lip fight to really elevate these encounters. Even the Pyramid Head boss battle looks incredibly interesting, especially with the new parrying moves and defensive features that enhance gameplay. These mechanics are well suited to the changes in the new bosses, making it feel balanced, and the encounters more dynamic and engaging. I'm really excited to see how the two Pyramid Heads will play out as well at the very end of the game, along with the final boss battle against Mary. It seems like they're really pushing the envelope in terms of combat and strategy, which could lead to more unforgettable moments. I guess we'll all just have to find out on the 6th to the 8th of October. With all that being said, thanks for watching, and maybe it's time to go back to that town, Silent Hill.
So you are Maria.
I am. If you want me to be.